Hare Krishna. So today, as we know, that we'll be discussing on the topic of isolation, and as we all know, currently we all are seeing the society. We all are observing that people have kind of insecurity. People have fear uh, because of the uh, COVID situation across the globe. And once I was just there in a park today morning, and there were few people. They were discussing among themselves that uh, you know uh, so corona is not a big problem, but uh, just immediately once you are found corona positive, and immediately you are put into the isolation or quarantine, and that's what they really do not want. So they are very much afraid of being put into that condition. So let us quickly understand what all it is about, and then we will, have discussions and questions. Okay. So solution to isolation. So isolation is a term associated with a situation when we don't have an opportunity to interact with people outside the world, or people with whom we are closely connected. And usually people are afraid of getting into such situations, and it's very difficult for them to manage once they get into those situations. And even let's put this current situation aside. Even in our day to day routine life, if we do not have social connect, if we do not have good social connect of people around us, then at times we get frustrated, we get into tension, we get into anxiety. uh, somehow somehow the society that we live in today, we we have not we do not have the experience of how one should really live in a isolated situation, and how it can really help in an individual's life. So through this discussion that we'll have today, by this we can understand how we can actually live in this phase in a positive way, and how it can really help us to get out of the situation in a positive manner. Okay, let's now move into this the content for discussion. So discussion content will be covering these following topics in our talk today, beginning with the real life example. We'll be taking an example of a personality uh, who has really, how he initially lived part of his life in isolation, and then after that he really brought a revolution to the world. Then we'll be talking about root cause of the problem. Root cause of the problem is essentially a situation when people are even committing suicide. The situation in the society is, even people are unable to tolerate this phase of isolation, and they go to the extent of committing suicide. So what is the root cause of this problem? Why such unforeseen unforeseen situations arises? Then we have a Vedic view. What does our Vedic knowledge talks about it? Then I'll be talking about some of the practical tips, or some of the practical examples, some practical solutions, how we as an individual, if we ever come across a situation of isolation, how we can really deal with it. And then intended outcome. So intended outcome is, I'll be talking about uh, whether isolation or non-isolation, how it is interrelated. What is the relationship between the two? Then we will be talking about will be discussing on a question: is isolation a need for society, or how do we really define whether it is justifiable or not justifiable? And then finally we will have a conclusion. What is a final outcome of the discussion and what we really should take as a lesson which we can apply in our day-to-day lifestyle. Okay, first we have real life scenario. Real life scenario. Let us have a quick look of the life of Mr. Narendra Modi, who is the current Prime Minister of India. So if you look at his initial period of life, I mean prior to becoming Prime Minister or Chief Minister of Gujarat, or beginning phases of his typical political career, he spent his good time of life in Himalayas, where he used to do some sort of meditation. He used to do some kind of dhyana practice, and which actually in a way brought revolution within his own life, within himself, and that actually brought him to a level when he's leading a country like India in a very positive way, when people are really fascinated all over the world by his approach and the way he is leading the country. So it's one of the example, without getting into the political aspects of it, but just to help you to understand how isolation can actually be a positive tool in the journey of your life. It's just that we need to know some mechanics around it, and if we know those mechanics, then we can really use this period of isolation in a very wonderful and majestic way. Okay, so this is a real life example, and like this, there are many other examples. So, if you look at Indian history specifically, then there are many people like this who have done it in the past, and they have really done different to the world at large after being in the phase of isolation for a specific period of time. So this is a lesson that we can get, that isolation in itself is not really bad, and if we know the way how to deal with it, then we can really create wonders. We can really do miracles by uh, by by using this phase whenever we come across such situation in our life. Okay, root cause of the problem. So root cause of the problem, I mean, where the problem is, why people cannot sustain themselves in a phase of isolation. There's something very important for us to understand, so that we can really go deep into the issue. And once we have an understanding, once we have a visibility on what the issue is, then definitely we have a possibility of overcoming the problem. So first is identification of problem, then we'll talk about solution. So modern world, we all live in a society which is being fascinated by the modern approach, when everyone is prospering, technology is prospering, people really want to see beautiful things around them, people want to listen beautiful things around them, people want to stay in touch with amazing people who can really create a difference in their life. So it's like everything should be perfect. We should have social connect, and we should be well connected with the society, and that's what gives charm to us. We like to do all those things, and it's kind of natural, because the way society is designed at the present moment, the way society is functioning, everyone is really tempted by that kind of lifestyle. So and we are moving in that direction. Then we have the second part, no prior experience. So no prior experience, when we say okay, fine, so let's say we are socially very well connected, we have lot of friends to meet at any time, we can call any person at any hour, and we can simply meet that person, we can spend some good time with that person. But unfortunately, that situation is not there anymore at present. So why is it happening? Because people do not have prior experience of really how to live within them. They are just focused outside the world, what is happening outside, and what really gives good feel factor, good feel factor to their eyes, or good feel factor to their ears, or good feel factor to what they really eat. That's what they all are interested in. So they do not have prior experience of the phase of isolation. Then the third is that shadow cannot really reach to the reality. It can give us some idea about what the reality is, but only shadow cannot reach to the reality. All that glitters is not gold. So shadow means we are living in a world, and that word is like a shadow of the reality. Now, people are so much engrossed in the shadow that they are unable to come out of the shadow to experience the reality, and they are thinking what the shadow is everything. So external world, being in social connect with people, and really, being a, I mean, there is a saying that man is a social animal. So and people tend to get into that zone of really being enamored and charmed by the beauty of the world, when people can more and more be socially connected. So we are living in a shadow phase, and shadow cannot give us the exposure of reality. That's a limitation of the society or the world that we live in today. Now, next is outside and inside world. So every person has two set of words. Like, people live outside when they deal with people outside. Then there's another word within ourselves. And now there's an interesting saying that your reality, your reality means whatever we are. Your reality is simply a mirror reflecting your inner world. So that means what is there within your inner world and what is there outside the world, it's kind of interconnected. What goes within your mind is connected to what is there in the outside world. And since the outside world has some certain fundamental limitations, because of that we cannot actually, when we get a situation or when we get an opportunity to get into within our own world, we cannot, it is difficult for us to live within that world. And we get an exposure of what is really going outside, and when it comes into our mind, then we cannot cope. We are unable to cope that situation. So there's like two separate set of situations. And if the situation is ideal, if the outside is everything good, then we think everything is fine. And if at any point of time, if anything outside is bad, then we are unable to really uh, deal with that situation. So this is called as the root cause of the problem. And the problem, as I mentioned, that for most of the people, it is difficult to live within a isolated phase. And why they cannot live within an isolated phase? Because when we are living in an isolation phase, what is happening? We are actually we are associating with our own mind. We all have a mind within us. When we are not talking to anyone, when we are not interacting to anyone, so we are talking to ourselves. We all have a we all have a self within us, and there is a mind within us. We all are connecting to our mind. When we are connecting to our mind, we start to know, okay, this is a challenge within our mind, this is a problem within our mind. And we start somewhere or other getting a feel that our thoughts are not really well placed within our mind, because we are associating with our mind, and our mind ultimately has some limitations, our mind has some challenges, and we get afraid. And and once we get afraid, then we are unable to deal with that phase. We get trapped. Oh, I cannot deal with this situation anymore. I need to get out of it. I need to connect with people. I need to talk to people. I need to see something beautiful. I need to hear something beautiful. Right now we all do live in an age of digitalization, wherein everything is available just on your phone. Once you just dial, once you click anything, you can get to see a lot of things. You can get to hear a lot of things. So you have a lot of opportunities to explore that. But ultimately, after a period of time, that also becomes useless. You cannot do that anymore. How many videos on YouTube you can have a look at? How many WhatsApp messages you can play around with? How many messages can be forwarded in a day? 100,000. And for how many months? Like the current lockdown period is for 40 days. Okay. So okay, up to 40 days, people can still manage, and people are trying to tolerate this period. I was speaking to one person today, and he told me, okay, everything is fine. We are okay with this current situation, but for us, I mean, if it now we want to go out, we want to go out. We cannot do more. We cannot wait for more. So insecurity was there. That was one thought going on in the mind. And then another part is, they're like tied up in the house. They don't have anything to do. And there's another person I was talking to. He's like my one of my mentor. I was talking to him. He said, for me, life is normal. I mean, even earlier I was locked in the house. Now also I'm locked in the house, and I'm doing the same thing as I was doing before. So he was quite happy and jolly, and he was saying, okay, even if it gets extended, I am fine with it. It doesn't really going to create a big trouble for me. So these are the two set of people having a two different set of mindset. So one was practicing Krishna consciousness nicely. Another was not really into it much. So this is what is really going on. So people have different situations, and people have actually built up those different situations, and basis those different situations, they react or respond. So root cause of the problem. So this is the problem, that we do not have prior experience of getting into ourselves. And once we try to get into ourselves, our mind is contaminated, or our mind thoughts really are not well placed, because of which we cannot really live within that phase for a longer period of time. Okay, now we have a Vedic view. Vedic view means what Bhagavad Gita talks about it. Bhagavad Gita also talks about isolation. You see, the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a book. It talks about anything and everything of this world. I mean, most of the things related to an individual life can be taken out from Bhagavad Gita, provided we know the art of decoding. So you need to know the art of decoding, then only you can decode. Otherwise, the same slokas are there. Everyone may not be in a position to really decode. So you need to have some kind of training to decode that. So what Vedic view says, Vivikta Desha Sevitvam Artara Jana Samsiddhi Etad Jnanam Iti Proktam Agyanam Yad Ato Nyatha. So here, I mean, in 13.11, so there were 3-4 shlokas combined. In 13.11, Krishna is telling, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people. You can see what uh, Krishna is trying to explain here. Aspiring to live in a solitary place. Solitary place is, okay, you are locked in your house. Probably you may be just having, you might be just looking at 3-4 faces, 1-2 faces around you. That's it. You might not be really getting an opportunity to see more faces. So that's also a situation. So current situation that we have now, it's like a solitary. It's like a solitary situation when we are in a now we are not having that training, and we are unable to live. But that's what Krishna is recommending. He's telling, all these I declare to be knowledge. You see, he's telling, if you have that art, if you know how to live in a solitary place. All this, he talked about different other things also, but I specifically brought these one two aspects in within that shloka. So all these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. This is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. So he's telling, if you have, if you get an opportunity, and if you can live in a solitary place, then okay, fine. There is no problem. That's what is required. You should be trained in that. Then in another shloka of Bhagavad Gita, so Vivikta Sevi Lagva Asi Dhamma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Who lives in a secluded place, such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. So if we know the art of living in a secluded place, such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. Again, it's a combination of shlokas when Krishna is talking about what are the preconditions that one should have if one really wants to have self-realization in his or her life. Now, somebody may say, okay, fine, Krishna is talking about self-realization. We are not really we are not really interested in self-realization, and this is where the limitation comes. Whether you are interested or not, it is not the criteria. It is not the criteria. It is something that everyone is supposed to be doing by default, but people do not do it in today's society. Many a times people tell me, okay, Prabhuji, or you are practicing it, it is fine for you, it is your way, you have chosen it, great, keep it up, but probably it is not meant for us. Then I just think in within my mind that it is not really my way. It is a way which has been given by God for everyone. I am not an alien here. Everyone is supposed to be practicing this way which God has given. And people just make these false assumptions within their mind. Okay, this person likes to do it, let him do it. Let us not disturb him, let him do it. But this is not the expectation here. Everyone is covered. The message of Bhagavad Gita is for every individual. It is not that it is just for me, it is just for you, or it is just for specific set of the society, specific section of the society. It doesn't work like that. It is for every individual, at least a human being who is on this planet right now. So this is a Vedic view. When Krishna is giving indications to Arjuna about the need and the relevance of living in a secluded place. We will be talking about what 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 really secluded place means. Like currently, if we are living in a house when we do not have too many people around us, and if we are not getting impacted by that, or we are not having too much of temptation within our mind, no, now we want to go out, then it is also equivalent to a secluded place. If you're not attached, it is also a secluded place. You're not attached to this place, you're not tempted to go out, you're simply trying to use the best time in your engagement for building up your relationship with God. That is what the expectation is. So any place can be a secluded place. We'll be coming to that point later. So practical situation or practical solution. So Bhagavad Gita gave some examples to support or to make us understand, to help us understand on the need of uh, hmm, on the need of being in a secluded place. Now we are talking about some of the practical situations. See, one is, if you think that you are alone, then again this thought in itself is a foolish idea or a wrong idea, because ideally you can never be alone in this world. How? Because God is always sitting within your heart as Paramatma. And if you have that experience, you will always feel presence of God within your heart. This is what Krishna consciousness is teaching all about. We all must have that experience. We all must uh, feel within us that it's not just my soul sitting inside my body. There is super soul also sitting within my body. And if I'm sitting in this room currently, I'm never alone. I can never be alone. And for this, we need some practice. We need some guidance. We need some training. We need to learn few things. We need to get some insights of what Bhagavad Gita is saying on this subject. Then we can understand. We can gradually start realizing that we are never alone in this world. God never leaves us alone. He can never leave us alone. We need to have that training. Okay, if it is difficult for us to really come to this level of consciousness that we can never be alone, so there is a second proposition, and the second proposition is, my friend, if you cannot come to this realization that you can never be alone in this world, the second proposition is, you have come in this world alone, and ultimately you will go from this world alone. Nobody is going to go with you. Even your body is not going to go with you. So nothing is going to go with you. Your family is not going to go with you. Your relatives are not going to go with you. Nobody will be going. Your friends will not be going with you. So you have come alone. You will be going alone. It's better to get that exposure of being alone at times. That helps. And then third, again, it's a very practical idea which I have personally implemented in my life, and it really helps at times. So thoughts writing exercise. It's like, okay, let's say you are isolated, you don't have anything to do, you are sitting in a room, you are living your life in one room. It's kind of locked situation. You can just go out to do your necessities, to like to have breakfast, to have lunch, or to have dinner, or to just pass urine, or to just go to the washroom, to take bath, all those things. That's it. And for few days you have to live in this one room, and you know you just have to be there. Now you need to start thinking, okay, what are the options available for me? Let me start writing my thoughts, what all I can do during this situation. And this situation, okay, I gave a very extreme example here, but all these situations we all come across in some manner or another. We all come across these situations. Yes, the magnitude might vary. We all, in some days or other, we think, oh, we are all alone, we don't have anything to do, so we get into a little frustration or anxiety or depression. No problem. Do some thought writing exercise. Write your thoughts. Then you start, whatever thoughts you have written, based on what your mind is indicating you, guiding you, directing you, basis whatever you put it on, whatever you put on the paper, then you can start questioning yourself. Start asking questions. Is it making a sense? Is it rational? Is it logical? Am I going into this direction? Then you start exploring a question within a question. Then work on your thoughts again and again, and keep writing. And if you're getting any question, you get stuck anywhere, write it. Okay, this is a question that I have, for which probably I do not have the answer right now, but I need to have this answer. I need to get it sorted. So this is thought writing exercise, and the more thoughts you will write, the better you will be. Like 4 days or 2 days or 3 days, you kept on writing couple of thoughts. Once you wrote everything, then you have something. I did some brainstorming about myself, of me as a person, and now it is time for me to really work on my thoughts, whatever queries or whatever quest that I came across. Let me write them together and let me try to resolve them. Okay, next is build a strong friendship. In our Vedic text, it is said that Krishna is known as Suhard Sarva Dehinam. That means he is a friend. He is a friend of all living entities within this world. Suhard, well-wisher or friend of Sarvadehinam, all the bodies within this world. Sarvadehinam. So try to build a strong friendship with God. If you will have a strong friendship with God, then you will start realizing that that friend is always there with you within. You don't have to really worry about anything. When that friend is there within you itself, that will really really bring a lot of difference. You have to build that strong friendship. Okay, fine. Today you may not have that friendship, and eventually once you will start building that friendship, you will see that reciprocation happening. You will start realizing that there is a reciprocation taking place. You will be in a position to talk to God. And again, it's somebody may say, okay, you're saying that one can be in a position to talk. Not just theoretical, it's practical. Good devotees, they talk to God. And we can also, you know, come to that platform with our sincere effort, our dedication, our determination, and our practice of this process that we are trying to help you to learn. Okay, next is intended outcome. Intended outcome. Ultimately, what we are trying to achieve. So, we know there is a situation, we get into isolation, we get into social connection, then again we get into connection, then we get into isolation. Ultimately, what we are trying to achieve, what we should do, what should be the intended outcome from all these exercises. So the intended outcome is a devotee who is practicing the process of chanting, reading Bhagavad Gita. He will eventually get trained to the extent that for him he can he can even when he is connected with social people around him or her, he will have an art of isolating himself. It's like Totorize. Is an example of Totorize. Totorize has that art. He when he when he want, he can expand his body, and when he do not want, he can shrink his body. He has that art. So similarly, depending on the situation, need, and circumstances, if we are trained enough, then we will be in a position. If there is a connection required, even in isolation phase, you will maintain a good connection. And if there is isolation required in a connection phase, you will be in a position to be under isolation even during connection. And this is what Bhagavad Gita says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Nashochati na Kanchati. When you are on a Brahma Bhuta stage, at that stage you are not really getting impacted. You tend to be socializing also, but you're not getting impacted. Or when you are in isolation, when you are alone, that time also you are always connected. This is a beauty of this process of bhakti yoga or Krishna consciousness that we are trying to teach to the society, that by this process you will not get impacted by any set of situation circumstances in your life. And if you come to this level, then the life is successful, and that's what is needed. No matter what situation or what circumstances come across in our life, we will not get impacted. That's what we want to teach, and we want ourselves to be practicing till the time of our death at least. And if we'll be able to do that, the mission of the life is complete. Okay, then now there's a question. This is an interesting question which I just did my own self analysis, and I was just referring this question earlier also. Is isolation a need? Okay, now you are sitting in an isolation in an isolated situation. Or sometimes people say, is isolation good or bad? The answer is, it is neither good, it is nor bad. It depends on your own individual level of consciousness, how you as an individual respond to it. So is isolation a need? That's not the right, in fact, question to ask, but how do you maintain yourself when you get into that situation? And isolation is, I mean, for people who really want to excel and prosper in their life, like I was taking the first example, the real life scenario of Mr. Modi. If we really want to prosper, even within spiritual journey, then we kind of need some kind of isolation. And in real sense, even that is not isolation, because you you will be connecting yourself. Okay, I'll come to that point. It is it when you are whenever you are under isolation, remember a rule which I told you earlier. You should have some some pattern of guidance. There should be somebody who has taught you, or uh, if not really in a position to get taught by anyone, you have some information about our Vedic knowledge, how to really deal with that situation. So it's a kind of guidance coming to us. Some superior guidance is coming to us, who is helping us, who is mentoring us in uh, while dealing with the difficult phase or situation in our life. Okay, so we do not want that one individual to keep on following his own mind pattern all the time, because if our mind is not trained enough, if our mind is not under proper guidance, it can just keep on taking some or other passages which can create a problem. So that's why isolation is fine, needed, but uh, you have to be under a proper guidance. And if you do not have any guidance, you have to be under guidance of God. For that, you have to understand what God expectations are from us. Conclusion. Now we are going to sum up what we discussed in terms of the process of devotion, or process of bhakti yoga, Krishna consciousness, that we follow. So the conclusion is that we as devotees of Krishna consciousness, we have a system of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When we chant this mantra, we are, in a way, from a worldly perspective, we are trying to disconnect ourselves from this world, because we are trying to connect ourselves with the higher consciousness, and that consciousness is basically connecting your consciousness with the super consciousness. When you're trying to connect your consciousness with the super consciousness, then you are chanting, and that is the safest proposition when you are under this phase, because we know that our mind is also a problem. Our mind can also create distractions. So that's why it's better to follow a safe route, under which we chant, we do everything uh, under a proper guidance. Then our mind will not jump here and there, and that is why we take shelter of the Lord's name. By taking shelter of the Lord's name, we know that yes, we have got connection with the highest force, and that highest force is within our heart, and that highest force will help us. We are not in isolation. He is there to take care of us. He is there to control our mental thought process also. If we really take his shelter, he will also take care of our mental thought process, mental ideas, which are just floating within our mind. And this is the best way to save ourselves from this difficult situation of isolation whenever we get into that situation. Okay, we are socially connected, fine, very good. But if at times you are not socially connected, then you should know the art how to deal with those phases in your life. That is why we have this specific focus of chanting of God's name, because nothing can give you more power than chanting of the name of the God. All right. So with this, we we are we are on the verge of completion. Let us have a quick look on what all we did, what all we discussed. We talked about its summary. Let us have a quick look at the summary. Then we'll conclude our session with the question answers. We started with a real life example when we discussed about Mr. Modi. We all know that if you look at his history, we can see there from his history that he had been to Himalayas when he kind of lived an isolated life for a while, and then he came out as a very different and energetic personality. So we as a devotee, when we are practicing the science of bhakti yoga, science of devotion, then we also chant. So we also during the day we have a set pattern, at least we chant this much of round. When we chant this much of our rounds, then we get energy every day. We get push every day to do things differently, because we are strong from our mind within us, because we have taken the right shelter. When we are strong within us, then we can do things differently. Then root cause of the problem. Root cause of the problem we talked about, why this problem has originated, that people cannot live an isolated life because they are not trained enough, they do not have prior experience, they are they are simply carried away by the flow of the modern society that they live in. Then we have Vedic view. Vedic view means Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna is is talking to Arjuna about the need of isolation. What is the real knowledge when one is aspiring for isolation in life? And the second is talking about the self-realization. If one wants to have self-realization, then he has to practice this isolation, going to a secluded place or living in a secluded place. So this is Vedic version, and yes, many people do not think so that it is the aim. So they think, okay, we don't need it, but Bhagavad Gita is quite clear on this. Everyone needs it. Whether if yes, if you think that you're not a human being, then okay, fine. You can say we are just animal. We don't need it. Then it can be accepted, but otherwise it cannot be. Practical solutions. We talked about few practical solutions like writing your thoughts. Always remember you are never alone in this world. Okay, if you cannot practice or understand this, that God is within you, and the best is always remember you always had come alone, you will always go alone in this world. This fact nobody can deny. He came alone, he will go alone. Intended outcome we talked about. If you are expert on the path of spirituality, then we come to a platform of Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma, when we do not really get impacted by the isolated phase or connected phase. We know how to really balance and use what in what which situation. Isolation is bad need. Isolation is need, but a devotee always knows, learns, and remember that he can never be in isolation. This term is not applicable for devotees. Isolation is not applicable for devotees, because he is always thinking that yes, God is with me. So those who are clear on this basic concept, the basic fundamental of life, that God is always with us, then there can never be isolation. And that's what we want to teach to the humanity, that yes, God is always with you. Don't think that uh, don't think that you are alone in this world. When you have come, God also has come with you. When you will go, God will go with you. For that, you need to have some realization. Conclusion, we talked about chanting of this mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So by chanting this mantra, we can have an association with God. We can start feeling We can start feeling the presence of God even within the name itself. This is the power, and that will give us energy and the real life example coming back, and we'll keep on getting charged day by day. Every day we chant certain rounds, and every day we get some empowerment. Yes, let me do something. Let me do something. Let me do something good for my daily duties side as well as for the society. Let me do something. Let me work on. So with this, I will conclude my session for today.